I loved my job. It wasn't glamorous. Just a mid-level project coordinator at a logistics firm, but I worked hard, showed up early, and made sure the chaos always stayed under control. My boss, Karen, used to praise me endlessly. "You're a lifesaver," she'd say. But the compliments stopped once I was recognized in a quarterly meeting for saving a $200,000 contract. Suddenly, she was cold. Short emails, micromanaging, then came the passive-aggressive comments. "Just make sure you don't overstep, or let leadership handle that." I was confused. Then I found out why. Colleagues slipped me a heads up. Kern was up for a promotion, but leadership had started mentioning me as a potential wildcard candidate. I never asked for it. Karen saw me as a threat. Instead of mentoring me, she sabotaged me. Reassigned me to a chaotic client account with no support, no documentation, and an impossible deadline. She called it a growth opportunity. I called it what it was, a setup. But I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction. I pulled 16-hour days, looped in every department I could. I made allies in accounting, even legal. I learned the back-end systems myself, asked the right questions, took meticulous notes. No detail was too small. Meanwhile, Karen kept emailing leadership vague concerns about my performance. She seems overwhelmed. I'm worried she's out of her depth. It's classic office politics. I didn't respond. I let my work speak. By the end of the quarter, not only was the client satisfied, they sent a letter saying I'd turned a disaster into a long-term partnership. Leadership was impressed. They asked me to present my strategy at the next all-hands. Karen looked like she bit her tongue clean off during my entire presentation. The next week, she called me into her office. "I need you to document everything you're doing step by step." Said it was for transparency, but I knew what she was doing. She wanted to steal my process and present it as her own. I created a detailed document. I had buried a few key pieces, not lies, just ... omissions she wouldn't notice if she skimmed. I shared it, waited. Days later, she presented my strategy as hers in a leadership briefing. She even reused my exact phrases. The room nodded, impressed. Then the coup asked a critical follow-up question, one of the pieces I had left out. Karen blanked. "I'll have to follow up," she said, but it was too late. I'd already emailed the real answer. Within 24 hours, leadership was asking questions. Why had Karen presented incomplete work? Why didn't she credit the actual project lead me? I didn't say much. Just forwarded a few emails, calendar invites, and the client's testimonial. The coup thanked me directly, said, "We know who made that account a success." Karen was furious. She stopped talking to me entirely, only communicating through brief Slack messages. Then came the final, blow-on, anonymous HR complaint. About me, it was full of vague accusations. Disruptive, competitive, not a team player. Said they had to investigate. Sat in the meeting, stone-faced, and handed them a folder. Every chat log, every email, and copies of the performance reviews Karen had signed just weeks before. All praising my collaboration, leadership, and client handling. HR thanked me. 2 days later, Karen was put on administrative leave pending a deeper review. Turned out I wasn't the first employee she'd tried to sabotage. Another team member came forward, then another. All with similar stories, Karen using flattery to disarm, then turning hostile the moment someone outshone her. Leadership brought me in for a meeting, said they were restructuring the department. They asked if I'd consider stepping in as interim manager. I didn't hesitate. Karen resigned a week later. No email, no goodbye, just a whisper that she was pursuing other opportunities. I cleared her desk and found a folder labeled my promotion plan. It was full of goals she never met, strategies she never used, and notes about how to keep control of rising talent. I laughed. She saw me as a threat because she never did the work. As manager, I made transparency a priority. I shared credit. I built systems that made sure no one could be undermined in silence again, and the team flourished. One day our CEO stopped by my desk, said, "You didn't just outwork her, you outclassed her." That's real leadership. That meant more than any title ever could. Karen wanted power. I wanted to be respected. She played games. I built trust. In the end, she lost everything trying to control the spotlight, and I earned it without asking. That first month as manager, I worked longer hours than ever, but it felt different. I was building, not surviving. The team looked to me not with fear, but with genuine trust. I set up weekly check-ins, anonymous feedback forms, and peer recognition shout-outs. Slowly, the fear Karen left behind started to fade. People smiled again. People stayed late by choice. We even started winning awards: Best Internal Ops, Client Excellence, and Most Improved Team Culture. Not because of me, but because I finally let the right people thrive. One day I got a LinkedIn notification. Karen had applied for a role at a partner firm. My stomach sank. Then I got a message from their HR asking for a reference. I didn't lie. I didn't trash her either. I gave them facts, dates, and how her actions had impacted morale and retention. HR thanked me and said they appreciated my professionalism. Later, I saw the listing reposted. She didn't get the job. I didn't feel smugged, just relieved. She wouldn't be doing to another team what she did to us. Months passed. I stopped checking on her updates. My focus was on my own growth, my people, and building a workplace I wished I had when I first started. And every time a new employee joins and says, "This place feels different," I smile, because I know what it took to protect that difference, and I'd do it all again.